Okay, well, let's go through these doors. You return to Sharon's palace from the Rokaj, your mission complete. The garden is empty. No family, no guards. It's eerily still. You honestly expected a bit more of a reaction. You begin your search for someone to report to. 50% chance says that she's already dead. Let's go into the main hall here, I guess. At last, someone is here to greet you. Princess Delia is pacing back and forth in the middle of the throne room. You approach her, expecting a warm hello. It is only when you get close that you see how upset she is. She turns and looks at you. You see the exhaustion and the tears. She leaps forward and throws her arms around you. Then, just as abruptly, she backs away. Rupert, you've come back at last. The throne room guards are trying very hard to not notice any of this. 75% chance that the queen has passed. What is wrong? She looks around the throne room as if it takes a moment for her to remember where she is. Wrong. Yes, very, very wrong. All wrong. She wipes her eyes with her sleeve. It is strange to see her so uncomposed, especially out of private chambers. That must wait for a moment. Mother is ill. She had a setback. A setback? What happened? Mother grew very ill this morning. I visited her. There were no healers in the chamber. I found her, pale. She wouldn't respond to... I thought she was dead. I called for the healers. They revived her with her medicines. It took time. One of the bottles she needed was empty, you see. Where is Sutter? He's not here yet. He's fighting in the... I forget where. Some wastes on some border. He's been summoned. He'll be home soon. How is she faring? All right. She is conscious. They say she will soon be as she was yesterday. They've checked all their medicines and mixtures. One of the bottles was empty. Mother drank too much of it. A terrible accident. She's been dizzy and confused a lot lately, you see. She drank too much of it. How could someone drink too much medicine? As I said, dizzy and confused. She must have felt unwell and thought to treat herself. A sad accident, but at least she is well. The sages will make sure it doesn't happen again. Mother is unwell, very unwell. So Mother is very ill. She is. After today, we can't lie about it anymore. I didn't want to lie at all, but Mother insisted. She had her list, so many problems that have been left unsolved. The Rokaj was only one of those. Sutter was fighting elsewhere. Mother wanted to look strong. Now... Today we have to face the truth, and... She smiles slightly. And I'm back from the Rokaj. Yes. You look different. A dangerous adventure in the Rokaj, another rebellion. Something to keep our soldiers busy, at least. Would you like to hear my report? I do not. Then she chokes a little. Tears are about to resume. It has been a long day here, Rupert. I need to go rest. I need to think. Your report has to go elsewhere. Who do I talk to? Mother. Mother said she wants to see you the moment you got back. It is an order. You can give her your report. Good luck getting her to actually listen. I will see you soon. I must... She turns and runs out of the throne room. I don't know why they left that door closed. Let's see. Delia's mine, Sutter's. Is Delia still in this room? No, she is not. There's all the healers. And now we go speak with Mother. You enter your mother's chambers and see her lying in bed. She looks sickly and exhausted, worse than you have ever seen her. Still, when you enter, she insists on rising to greet you in the proper regal form. As servants assist her in becoming presentable, one of her healers tugs your sleeve from the side. Hello, Prince. May I speak with you? How fares my mother? You may have heard. She has had a difficult day. She is just now recovering. She will be able to speak with you. She only asked for a moment to prepare. How did my mother drink a whole bottle of medicine? She asked to be alone so that she could sleep. Her medicines were routinely left by her bed. We imagine she was tired and disoriented and drank it by mistake. The Queen has had difficult periods. She is in one of these right now. She's very ill. I am afraid so. It is a wasting disease, as you know. Slow progressing, painful. It is sad when the diseases of commoners affect the greatest among us, yet the sickness does not see a crown. I was told that she was well. Remember, everything we do is at your mother's instruction. She is the Queen, and she has her reasons and responsibilities. What is the cure? I do not think a cure is available. Magic can cure wounds, but not diseases. Life must reach its end, and I am... Rupert, I am ready. Come to me, my child. Let me hear of your victories. Very well. The Queen motions you forward. She is standing upright, but with difficulty. Sweat begins to bead out on her forehead. My child, you return victorious. I am proud. It is good to have you home. As she waits for a response, she carefully lowers herself back into bed. Are you feeling well? Of course. I am completely well. She forces an unconvincing smile. I hope you haven't been listening to too many rumors. You know how court can be. I'm ready to report about the Rokaj. Yes. Yes, of course. There is a long pause. You start to speak, but she doesn't seem to be paying attention. Her chin slumps toward her chest. Mother? There is a moment of great tension. The healers all lean forward. Then Mother returns to herself. She smiles wanly and tries to look healthy. I apologize, Rupert. I have not been myself today. I will take your report in a moment. She sips some water. I'd like to know about your health. It is improving. How can it not, when so many attentive healers look after me? I have better and worse days. As I'm sure Delia informed you, I had a small mishap this morning. You drank a whole bottle of medicine. It was an embarrassing mistake. I am mortified, as you could imagine. My healers make a variety of potions for me to sip at different points of the day. I woke up too early. I was tired. I drank from the wrong bottle. That is all. Are you sure it was an accident? She looks you in the eyes and you shrink back. For a moment, the Queen is her old, imperious self. It was an accident. They happen. It will not happen again. We must make sure no similar accidents occur. All right. For once, you return your mother's gaze. She frowns at you, but then something fails. She slumps back. It will not happen again. Enough of this. We have business. You want to hear my report on the Rokaj? Yes. She picks up her crumpled list of tasks and looks at it. Wait. Let me find the correct entry. She looks at the list without seeing it. She's starting to lose her focus. A long silence. The Rokaj challenged me. I climbed to Prova Krug and answered them. That could never happen. Challenge the child of Darmal? They would never dare. And you climbed that peak and someone attacked you. I don't understand. My Ro would never challenge us. It is the truth. She grows very confused. The Rokaj fighting us. I don't understand. How could this be possible? Delia? Sutter? Darmal? What is happening there? The lead healer walks forward and gently lays a hand on your arm. Your mother has had a very long day. We still need to talk. The Queen says, Yes, we will. I need to understand. This is just all so strange. Just let me rest for a bit. She slumps back against the pillars and closes her eyes. The list slips out of her hand. The Queen is exhausted. The healers gently escort you away from her. Do I just go up? As you walk away from the Queen's bedchamber, you hear a disturbance. Clanging, shouting. It's not battle, but something is definitely happening. The sounds come from the direction of the throne room. Oh dear. What's happening there? Sutter must have arrived. General Miranda? When you enter the throne room, you are surprised to find General Miranda waiting for you. She is accompanied by an escort of soldiers. Some are Havenites, some are Ro. Some have recently seen battle. General Miranda walks up to you and bows. Prince, I am very happy to see you. I have urgent news. Why are you here? Rebellion. Things have happened far faster than we expected. We're in desperate need of orders, but I have been looking for someone to report to, but nobody of your rank has been available. Give me your report. The traitors who challenged you and attacked Haven are on the move. Their army has begun to descend from the High Litha. They're a small force, but fearless. As they head downhill, they are gaining recruits. Clans are joining them. In Lascara, General Angach is ready to launch a response. We have an army there waiting to be unleashed. We can fight these rebels. You note that some of these warriors have already been in skirmishes. You see scratched armor and bandaged wounds. They had no time to make themselves more presentable. Can I assist you? I did not expect to get these orders from you. However, all other royals are either absent or, in the case of the Queen, not conscious. What we need can only be provided by royalty. The situation is urgent. What do you want from me? Your army in the Gentle Coast is ready to march to war. The blades are sharp. The will is strong. All they need is the command. Give the word, and we will begin to awe the Rokaj with a timely show of strength. That is usually what it takes to control those barbarians. I give the command. Fight the rebels, but carefully. Go slowly. Minimize damage and casualties. It is most important that we not kill those who shouldn't be dead. The soldiers nod. General Miranda looks a bit less enthusiastic, but you can see the resolve in her eyes. Yes. The Rokaj is a stubborn place. Normally only vicious, overwhelming force gets through those skulls of theirs. Yet that is the old attitude. An attitude that brought us this rebellion. A change may be wise. It will be done. You are dismissed. The soldiers all salute. There is a standard pleasantries. Then they return to the portal. Back in the Rokaj, war is beginning. Here, you find yourself standing in the throne room, unsure what your role is now. Now that the soldiers are gone, you wander around, looking for someone to talk to or something to do. The palace is eerily quiet. A few guards, no courtiers. You find dust and cobwebs. The housekeeping has been neglected. Normally, the Queen would never tolerate this. Eventually, you return to your bedroom to rest. You eat, drink, and shake off the exhaustion of your time in the Rokaj. 3 days pass. Then a servant comes with a message. Prince Sutter has finally returned. He's waiting in the throne room. Very well, then. This is going even longer than I thought it would. Prince Sutter. At last, Prince Sutter has returned from whatever his latest mission is. He's sitting on Mother's throne. You've never seen him do this before. If Mother was well, you doubt he would have dared. You see and smell that he is fresh from battle. He slumps forward, exhausted. There are still dots of blood on his sleeve. It takes a moment for him to notice you are there. When he looks up at you, it is hard to read his expression. He's feeling nothing, or too many things at once. He says quietly, "Hello, Prince. I see you got here ahead of me. Here to clean up messes, I am sure. I am back, ready to assume my duty." Are you sure you don't need to clean up first? He looks down at his sleeve and sees the blood. Oh, yes. Mother would be annoyed. I will clean up soon. Then I will find out everything done in my absence, how easily I was replaced. You might as well catch me up. What about these rumors I'm hearing? Our beloved Queen almost died? Mother drank a bottle of medicine and almost died. You tell him the story. Again, an eerie lack of reaction. He thinks for a bit. Then he asks several questions, none of which you have the answers to. And what do you think of that little crisis? I spoke with the doctor. You tell what you learned. Oh my, you mean people around here are telling the truth? I'm glad I got back before we fell back out of the habit. Everyone says it was an accident. I'm sure they do. The palace is operating as it always does. Don't worry, you have told me the correct story and I will be sure to repeat it. And the Rokaj has gone to war, have they? Not your fault, it's just what they do. Still, I'd like to hear what happened from your mouth. The Rokaj is in rebellion. General Miranda came to get orders. Now he sits up straight. You see an actual emotion in his eyes. Unfortunately, it is rage. Oh, she did she? and her future king was delayed a few days, so she just took orders from whoever was standing around. I had no choice. Nobody else was available. He stands up and starts to pace back and forth. The decision could have waited a day. What is the point of all my training, all my preparation, if I am bypassed the moment there is a crisis? He realized that the guards are watching him. You should not have been asked. I am to be king. What do you think should be done? He holds up his sleeve and looks at the blood. I have a purpose. I am Mother's dog of war. Go here, kill these rebels. Go there, kill these magical heirs. Killing and more killing. Turns out that is what she made me for. I understand you let loose our army. Good. I will make sure they are enthusiastic. They will crush the rebels. They will learn that King Sutter is not sentimental. Haven will not tolerate any more nonsense. Is Haven well? All Mother can do is find things that are going wrong. She wants to leave this world thinking everything is taken care of. Peace everywhere. We all love each other. It's a natural desire. All her children, we owe it to her to help her believe that lie. Are you sure you want to be king? Prince Sutter looks concerned. Why would you ask that? What does my wanting matter? I have a duty. I will fulfill it. That is all. Remember, it is I who will have to decide whether Haven is on the right path. Though I will count on you and Delia to give your opinions from time to time. Haven is confused and neglectful. It must reform. Sutter nods. I have seen far more of our vassals of late. Our empire is huge, and it grows awkward. Over the last few years, we have looked weak. Trust me, when I wear the crown, there will be reforms. As for you, you are a prince. You are my brother. You are special. I will always find a proper use for you. What must I do? Prince Sutter looks at you, weighing you, trying to decide how much he should offer at this point. However, before he can speak, he is interrupted. Princess Delia runs into the room. Princess Delia walks into the throne room and gives you a nod. A proper diplomatic smile is pasted on her face. This is the first time you have seen her in 3 days. At last, she has emerged, and she has made herself calm and presentable. She embraces Sutter. Welcome home, brother. You should have had time to clean up. Still, I'm sure you will be forgiven when Mother comes. She turns to you. My brother, I must apologize for the display I gave you when you came home. I lost my composure. It will not happen again. You have been under too much pressure. I am a princess of Haven. I have great wealth and power. I must earn it with my behavior. As for you, I hope your well-earned rest restored you. How are things in the castle? About to change quickly. Mother is on the way. What? After what happened, she is holding court. The Queen does what she wants, and she makes sure we do what she wants as well. How is Mother? She has recovered since her unfortunate accident. She has some energy. She is in surprisingly good spirits. I'm sure having all of her children under her roof helps greatly. How is Sutter? She looks at your brother. In need of a bath and rest for both body and mind. The Queen has been having you do a lot of fighting. It feels like my only purpose. Killing. It eats away at you. It is good to be home. What do you want, Delia? I want so much, I confess it. My life, it has strayed far from what I wanted, what it should be. I must be patient. What is wanted of me? The Queen will be here soon. You can ask her yourself. Did you have some of your own ideas for what you must do? I will do what Mother wants. Sutter and Delia laugh. Of course you will. It has to start working sometime, doesn't it? My hearing has always been sharper than yours. Don't you hear? Mother comes. Look to the doors. Before long, you hear a procession approach. Delia and Sutter move to the side. The guards straighten their spines. The eastern door is open. A strong, herbal, medicinal smell enters the throne room. Queen Sharon walks through the doors. Her healers wait behind in the hall, waiting to leap in and tend to her if needed. The Queen makes her unsteady way to her throne. It's fortunate that Sutter is not in it, or there might be awkwardness. She sits and looks at you. The final audience regarding your Rokaj adventure is about to begin. I probably should have made this a two-parter, and it's going to be. You approach Queen Sharon III. Your brother and sister bow their heads. You note that the Queen has her list of tasks hanging from her hand, covered with scrawled notes and heavily crumpled. Sometimes she forgets that she's holding it. This audience is to celebrate Prince Rupert. I sent my child on a difficult mission in the Rokaj. This is a celebration. Sutter and Delia look at each other. My children are home. Inspect her carefully. You take a good look at her. Her face looks strange. Her eyes have a glassy, manic quality. She must have insisted that the healers give her a mixture to get her through this audience. She wanted very much to celebrate your return properly. Are you well, Mother? She is silent, but you see her eyes start to focus. When she speaks again, some of the old strength has returned. What? Yes, of course I am. I have had troubles, all know it. Yet I am the Queen of Haven, don't forget it. I understand. I am glad. I hope all understand. Haven is challenged, and it will respond with confidence and strength. So, Rupert, let us resume our conversation. You have a report about the state of the Rokaj. The Rokaj is in rebellion. I have had reports from the field from our generals. Miranda and Angach were quite forthcoming, both about the situation and your contributions. The rebels have advanced quickly, and warriors join them every day. Loyal armies in the higher valleys are already being attacked. There is death among the rebels and those loyal to us. When you return to the palace, General Miranda asked you to give the order to counterattack. How did you respond? I ordered that the row be reclaimed, but slowly and cautiously. A moderate politic choice, my child. A clever choice for other lands. The row, alas, will see our hesitation as weakness. Sutter tries to say something. You can still see his resentment that you gave orders in his place, and his resentment when the Queen ignores him. I fear your orders will cause more violence, yet your instincts are solid. They only need minor refinement. You were the child I raised. I approve. To finish this audience, I must ask you some questions. You note that Sutter and Delia seem eager to speak. Sutter, something to say? Sutter's exhaustion gets the better of him. He looks at the Queen. His hands tremble. Mother, I have now spent years traveling from one end of the Empire to the other, fighting a countless series of battles. He holds up his arms, showing off the blood still splattered on his sleeves. Yet when the time to give orders has come, the time that calls for a monarch, I was passed by. I was hunting pests in a wasteland, a job that should have been done by your soldiers. The Queen is confused. You expect an angry response. She should crush Sutter with a single cutting comment. Instead, she's just confused. Of course, Sutter. That sounds difficult. We'll talk about it later, dear. This response leaves Sutter as confused as Mother is. What I would say is, yes, while you are meant to be king, the fact is, you were not here, and this demanded an immediate response. We didn't have time to wait around. If we did, there would be more death. You are just a prince. The heir, yes, but still just a prince. You have as much authority at the moment as myself or Delia. Any one of us three could have given an answer in absence of the Queen. And what you should learn, Prince Sutter, is that delegation is an important part of ruling a kingdom. Or an empire. Delia, do you have something to say? Delia looks at Mother's increasingly vacant eyes. She looks at exhausted, unwashed Sutter. Then she looks at you. She looks like she doesn't recognize you. She says in a quiet voice, I have nothing to say. I am only happy that we are all together again. She takes a step back. I'm ready to answer your questions, Mother. The Queen looks at her list for a while, eventually finding a few notes. Most of your choices were adequate. Some were even close to wisdom. You replaced Governor Yvette with a nobody. Unfortunate. Her family is influential. We got plenty of tribute from her. An expensive bit of idealism. You try to say something about Yvette's actions, but Mother plows on. You kept Governor Otto in place for now. It is past time for him to be replaced, but this process will take time. I will make sure to make a selection that is advantageous to our family. You made the best choice. Good. She is not interested in your response. And the The petitions? The Rosses asked for more than their due, yet you prevailed. All the petitions of the Rosses have been answered. Good, good. You did a lot for them, not that they were grateful. What a troublesome people. And... She pulls a note out of her pocket and peers at it. They dared challenge you. They asked you to climb Prova Krug. They dared insist you prove Haven is worthy to lead them, as if they were not bound by treaty and debt. A ridiculous demand, but a good way to show strength. What did you do, child? I fought the challenge at Prova Krug. She smiles. For a moment you remind me so much of your father. You made an unwise choice. You took a great risk. It will embolden our other vassals to challenge us. Yet it will result in a less bloody rebellion. And you have your father's blood in you. How can I question that? One final question. You have been to the Rokaj recently. I have not. What is your opinion of our actions there? Let me ask a question first. Why has the Rokaj been neglected for so long? Sutter and Delia tense up. They give Mother a worried look. The Queen, in turn, takes a long time to answer. The words come to her very slowly. After Consort Darmal died, I could not bear to think about the Rokaj. The loss of your father hurt. Then I was in the habit of not thinking about it. And then... so much of this was my fault. She holds up her list. I made so many mistakes. I wish I could correct them. I have said enough about this. What do you say about the row? Haven has neglected the Rokaj. We should not have treated our vassal that way. True, of course. And now the price for my mistakes will be paid in blood. We will crush this rebellion. We will execute the traitors. Then we will rebuild a better Rokaj. Thanks to your help, we can start anew. You spoke wisely. Therefore, it is a pleasure to make my proclamation. A proclamation? I proclaim, for your brave work in the Rokaj, that you are a hero of Haven. You have shown a lack of wisdom at times, and you have much to learn. Yet you will have a position of great authority in our empire. Let these words be spread throughout our many lands. Sutter seethes with jealousy. Delia puts a calming hand on his arm. You will still be king. I am grateful. You earned it. She leans forward and places a hand on your shoulder. When you were younger, I had my doubts about you. Now that you have become a warrior for Haven, it brings me great relief and joy. Sutter seethes. And finally, I have a personal judgment to place on you. I have watched you so carefully. I must judge how good and loyal a servant to Haven you have been. And what is your judgment? As she speaks, the Queen is starting to sway uncertainly from side to side. The healers move closer to the door to the throne room. Still, she is determined to finish the audience on her terms. Not for the first time, you admire her iron will. I am sorry to have to say. Your words and actions have shown you need much correction. You don't understand Haven's ways, and I have greatly disapproved of your words and actions. You will still be a favored servant, my child, but you have so much to learn. We will not forget it. Rupert, Haven needs to work hard. We need you to keep learning. Remember, you will need to give support. Give support. The Queen turns and looks at Sutter. One day your older brother will be king. It is the greatest of challenges. He will need help, guidance, someone to challenge him. I know Delia will help him when she is not looking after her family to come. Sutter looks at the Queen as if he's never quite seen her before. Both he and Delia have increasingly wet eyes. The rest of the world has seen us as weak. They see me as sick and incapable. Other rebellions are brewing. We face many new challenges. I need to know that you will help Sutter when the time comes. I will help Sutter as well as I can. Then I will sleep easier. Thank you, Rupert. That is what I needed to hear. With that, I declare your mission in the Rokaj concluded. What will happen to the Rokaj? It is sad. Darmal would be ashamed to see it. Yet it must be done. The Rokaj is in rebellion. Haven will crush it. No other ending is possible. They have spirit, but Haven's army is the most powerful in the known world. All that remains is to see how much damage is done. Your words and actions will have an effect on that. We'll see soon enough. I want to help you complete your list. You are good children. You did what I asked in the Rokaj. Your time there is done. Set it aside. Now we can return to... Her face goes slack. Her list slips out of her hand. Mother? When she leans forward, you think that she is lost in thought. She keeps leaning forward. Farther. She pitches forward. In full view of the healers and the royal guard, she collapses in a pitiful pile on the floor. The healers surge forward. The guards are behind them. Even after what has come before, Sutter and Delia are shocked. As the queen is carried away, you pick up the remains of her list. The boots of the guards have left it in tatters. Delia takes it away to discard it. Sutter walks up to Mother's throne and stares at it. Then he leaves for his room to clean up. You stand in the throne room, looking for something to do. All you can do, it turns out, is wait for news. Queen Sharon III is carefully removed from the throne room and returned to her chambers. Everyone knows the routine by now. Guards and healers return to their business, forgetting that anything happened. You spend some time with your brother and sister. Some talk, a meal, trying to forget about everything that happened. Then life resumes. There is a crisis after all. All of the Queen's old orders for Sutter and Delia are still active. Of course, a few days of rest and treatment restore the Queen to functionality. She is soon back to giving orders. However, there are far fewer of them, and only about major issues. She does not ask what happened to her list. She does not begin a new one. Almost all of her meetings and audiences take place in her chambers now. The guards watch over an empty throne room. A few days pass. Sutter grows more and more restless. It seemed like he wanted a time for peaceful rest in the palace. Instead, he broods and talks about the battles to come. Soon he says his farewells, straps on his armor and blade, and departs. Delia continues to do research for her mother. More and more the Queen asks for advice. She even manages to spend some days with you and see a few suitors. However, as time passes, she grows quieter, more subdued. Some days she does not leave her chambers. That leaves you wandering the palace. Sometimes you wonder if you should be going somewhere, but the portal is always closed to you. You get more rest and entertainment than you need, but boredom causes you to pace the halls. As time goes on, courtiers and officers and visiting officials come to the palace to meet with royalty. For lack of others to talk to, you find yourself asked to give a lot of orders and rulings. Somehow, news spread of your mother's lack of confidence in you. They accept your judgments, but you can see that they are already scheming to find ways around them. Many of those who come to the palace bring news of the rebellion in the Rokaj. From a distance, you watch the war unfold. The Rokaj was impressed by the way you acted when you were there. Your words and actions convince many that it is worthwhile to stay loyal to Haven. The rebels have difficulty recruiting allies. You went to Prova Krug and answered their challenge. This settles many debates in Haven's benefit. This act of respect and courage causes far fewer to join the rebellion. Your orders to cautiously unleash the army of Haven were followed to the letter. The 7th Army in the Row carefully emerges from their camp near Lascara, ready to show the Row what Haven's superior equipment and training can do. Their care and caution reduces the amount of death and destruction, but it also gives the rebels time to recruit allies and establish positions. As a result, when battle is joined, it ends up being a bloody and destructive affair. The High Litha is sparsely populated. Most of its power comes from the trust and respect the rest of the Rokaj gives it. Rasa Suharam did not want to support the rebellion. He saw correctly how much destruction it would bring. Your actions enable him to convince the High Litha that this is not the time to fight. Many are angry, but a few do listen to him. Governor Ivana is able to stay in Vijayam. She speaks eloquently on behalf of Haven. Many clans stay off the battlefield based on her efforts. The Kranis Woods are grateful for your efforts in calming their groves. Though many druids want to fight for vengeance, the druid Proserpexa calls for calm and patience. The newly ascended Governor Abelin replaces Yvette, and immediately does his best to calm things with the Kranis Woods. Thanks to the groundwork he laid, he is able to do much to keep the clans from rebelling. The Kranis Woods rebel, but it is a small uprising, easily snuffed out. The angry stalkers and druids never have much luck in recruiting help. They're hunted down in the name of the Queen. Excuse me. The Low Dog is grateful for your help defeating the brigands that had been tormenting them. However, because of your words and deeds, many decide that the Wolf's raiders were actually fighting for a noble cause. When the Ro learn that Governor Otto is remaining in his post, they are furious. It doesn't help when they find out that Ras Alawata could have been chosen, but was not. Otto responds to the rebellion without competence. Soon the Wolf's warriors descend into the Low Daga, and the rebellion begins in earnest. Governor Otto struggles to remember how to raise his soldiers and wage war, but his many attempts to look harmless to the Rokaj have turned into actual harmlessness. The rebellion is long and fierce. Haven's warriors are chasing Dagans up and down valleys for a long time. Many are lost on both sides in an unending series of ambushes. When the rebellion is finally crushed, the Low Daga takes years to recover. As promised, you use your influence to affect the status of women in the Low Daga. Your orders pass through many layers of bureaucracy, and neither Prince Sutter nor the Queen aid your efforts. Alas, your reputation is poor, and you have little favor with the Queen. Also, the traditions of centuries are hard to uproot. In the end, you're unable to make any changes. The Gentle Coast is the wealthiest, least military, most loyal region to Haven in the Rokaj. Nobody expected them to be very active in aiding the rebellion. Fortunately, the rebellion in the upper provinces is minor enough to be contained. Your army is able to spare your more loyal, wealthy subjects the worst of the war. There are those who are loyal to the Wolf, and they engage in sabotage, spying, and the occasional murder. These traitors are hunted down and dealt with in a final and public fashion. Eventually, the war ends. The Second Great Uprising is utterly crushed. Rasa Suharam and those who wanted peace were right. Perhaps one day the Rokaj will have the strength to repel Haven and regain its freedom. Not today. The war is painful and costly, but Haven's army manages to contain it to the most angry, unstable corners of the Rokaj. Many areas are scorched and traumatized, but many others are spared. You will live to see the damage repaired. Your mother grieves the losses, but she knows it could have been far worse. In private, she expresses great gratitude to you for limiting the damage. Whatever disappointment she has is well hidden. Then the Rokaj falls away from your thoughts. As time passes, you settle into life at the palace, being consulted, making decisions, enjoying the luxury of royalty. You have little favor with the Queen. While you are sought out by Haven's officials to give orders and advisement, the words are usually ignored. This only results in more chaos. Meanwhile, the rest of the family is absent. Princess Delia stays quiet and remote. She still does her duty, providing research and advice to you and your mother when needed. She goes through all of the motions of life. Sometimes she reverts to her old self, and you walk together in the gardens or borrow the portal to go somewhere interesting. Yet Mother's decline takes a real toll on her, and she feels responsible as unrest in your vassals grows. Prince Sutter openly prepares to become king. Half of the time he visits powerful lords, wealthy merchants, and other potential allies. The rest of the time he tries to display strength and confidence by visiting destruction on those who resist Haven's power. He has no shortage of targets. He spends little time back at the palace. You see that his work is aging him, and you grow to miss his confident smile. When he is there, he always makes sure to visit you and Delia. He also spends long hours in private with the Queen, discussing the finer points of the family business. And the Queen grows weaker. She spends more time in bed. She gives fewer commands. She relies on the three of you more and more. There are no more unfortunate accidents. Yet her will is not entirely gone. She starts to talk about how she has one great regret. She never expanded the Empire. She never claimed a vassal of her own. You try to keep her from taking on a new great project, but talking about it does revive her somewhat. You can only hope that she isn't too sincere. If she gives the order, it will be obeyed. She is still queen. Now all know of her sickness. If nothing else, events have brought truth to the world. In a way, it is a great relief. The rest of the world watches. They know the queen is dying. She has declared that Sutter will follow her, but the lords of Haven will have to agree. Some plot quietly to take power. Vassals who see weakness and distraction consider rebelling. Some actually follow the example of Rokaj and raise their weapons. Violence begins to break out. The world slowly grows more chaotic. You try your best to fight the decay and reduce the violence. Since you lack the Queen's favor, you end up a figure of mockery at court, though never to your face. You often find yourself powerless to act, and the worst lies ahead. The end. Congratulations for reaching an ending to Queen's Wish 2, The Tormentor. If you carry your choices to the next game of the series, hang on to this code and enter it when you start Queen's Wish 3. Which I shall do. And thus ends Queen's Wish 2. It is unfortunate that I don't have the Queen's favor, but at least I am considered a hero. I guess I'm more of a knightly prince than a ruler prince. Sutter will be leader, but hopefully his militarism doesn't backfire. That said, that ends Queen's Wish 2. There will be another one sometime in the future, possibly in a couple of years, and I will definitely be playing that when it comes out. You can guarantee yourself on that. This game was interesting, and I enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing what happens in the third one. Although I think we have a hint on what will come. Most likely, we will be told to go and claim a new vassal for the Queen before she passes. We'll see what happens there. As for what I'm going to do next, I have an idea or two, but I still need to decide that. Soon, a new game will come out, and I will play... Well, no, not a new game, but soon I will be playing another game in the next episode. Again, not sure what, but we'll see. Till then, I am Chester44, also known as July. This has been the story of Prince Rupert of Haven. This has been a Let's Play of Queen's Wish 2, The Tormentor. And I shall see you all next time.